probably there are two types of my viewers, Sergio. Those who follow football and those who don't, right? So for those who follow football, they most likely they will have heard about you. They will know who Sergio Van Dijk is. But to those who don't know you, can you introduce yourself a little bit, who you are, your background, and so on?
Yes, of course, of course. If you have the time for this, because it's a bit
I
of a
have
story.
I have a lot of time for this.
No, okay. I'm Sergio Van Dijk. I'm 38 years old now already, and I was born in the Netherlands, in Assen, a city in the north of the Netherlands. My mother has Indonesian background. My father is Dutch. I've joined a professional football club in the Netherlands named FC Groningen from when I was 14 years old. And I finished my career, I think, now already two and a half years ago. So I've been involved in professional football in the Netherlands. I've moved to Australia. I have played there a couple of years. And after I moved to Indonesia, of course, because of my background as well, Thailand, Iran, Indonesia again. And I have a lot of experience in the Asian football, also because of the Asian Champions Leagues games that I've played in, and also the national team of Indonesia. So that's what I did. At the moment, I am active as a player agent for Treveden Group in the Netherlands. We are looking after players, especially now at this moment in time, because we are a recently new agency. We have a lot of young players, young talented players that are have the opportunity to become good players in the first team in professional football. We are trying to look after them, make sure with our experience that what they can expect and what they should do better, and where we can help them with like nutrition, extra physical training, mental coaching, all these kind of things to make sure that their chances of becoming a professional football player is bigger. And next to that, I have my own company, SGM Global, that I have already since a year or three or two. With SGM Global, I do all kinds of football business, connecting Europe with Asia a lot, and it's from setting up academies from big clubs from Europe in Asia, to looking for investors for that want to buy a club in Europe. So there are two things a little bit. So players, helping players, but also the football related business side.
Oh, that's awesome, Sergio. It sounds like you have plenty of work to do, plenty on your plates, mate.
Yes, correct.
So just to look on what you've just explained to me, there are basically two sides of a Sergio Van Dijk, right? Yeah. The former professional football player, and currently the professional player's agent, right? Yeah. So these are probably the two sides of Sergio that I would like to unpack in this conversation. Yeah. So why don't we begin with the first one, Sergio the player, right? Because I believe plenty of my viewers who understands Indonesian football would like to listen more, something to have something more personal from you, coming from you, about your experience as a player, right? So can you talk to me about your upbringing as a player? You came from the Netherlands. You had the proper football education in the Netherlands. How was it like for you growing up? Because I understand you also learn football. You also train football with some really great players. Like I saw a picture of you with Arjen Robben, who is a legendary player. How was it like in your younger in the younger phase of your football experience? Sergio?
Yeah, first of all, football is number one sport here in the Netherlands. So everyone, when you grow up, you will first you go on swimming class, because the Netherlands is lower than the sea level. So there is a chance that the country might flood. So you need to swim. So everyone needs to swim first. But after, the second thing is probably joining a football club. And I did the same, because my father was a good football player as well. Didn't make it to professional football, because back then, when he was young, professional football wasn't really a job, So his parents didn't allow him to do that. But football was always in my life from when I was 6 years old. So there was sports number one. And after, I think, when I was around 10, 11 years old, you could see the talent, or at least that's what I've heard from my father. And I developed more and more, and until I came on the radar of the biggest club here in the region, and that's FC Groningen, where I joined their academy when I was 13, 14 years old. Yeah. After that, of course, I went through the ranks of the academy. I made it to the first team, signed my first contract when I was 17 years old. And I was in the team with Arjen Robben. So I grew up with him like every year. And to be honest, he was already that good when he was that young. Even though I was top scorer, but he gave me some good assists. But now in the end, his qualities were more exceptional than mine, and everyone knows his story. National team, World Cup, Bayern Munich, or whatever, Real Madrid, and I went a different way. But still, for me, I enjoyed my career a lot, and I think this was the best job that I could have had, and now I'm doing the second best thing, and that's still involved in football, but then as an agent. And as I told you before in my introduction, I've traveled to many countries for football, mainly because of I wanted to see something of the world, because with football you can actually travel to any country and find a club and also earn a living. And that's what I did. So Australia, also one of my greatest experiences in football, with some great highlights for me. And Indonesia, a special experience, I think an exceptional experience. What I also tell to many other people, that the experience in Indonesia is unimaginable. You should play there to experience it yourself, and also some other adventures to meet different cultures in football, but also different cultures for me personally, and like Iran and Thailand. So in the end, I would say that I've been lucky with what I've been doing as a to earn a living.
That's amazing, man. So if we look back at your illustrious career, right? You played for many clubs. You played in different countries, different parts of the world. If you go back, right, in your upbringing, you were training together with someone like Arjen Robben, who made his way to the top of the game, right, to the top of the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
If we talk about football with an average football fan, right, who watched the likes of the clubs that Robben had played for, like the Chelseas, the Madrids, and the Bayern Munich of the world, right? They're on top of the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, you've been around the world, right? So this is I think, in my opinion, I think you've seen many things that most football fans are not even aware of, right? You've seen a more dynamic, a more diverse aspects of football. You played in Australia, you played in Southeast Asia, in Iran, right? They have different cultures, right? So how important was it for you as a player how valuable is that experience for you, right? Having that diverse experience in football cultures and so on.
I think you hit the nail on the head. These experiences are so valuable, and I realize it as well, that you see different kinds of people who experience life in a different way. When you are in your own country, you think like, okay, the other side of the world is exactly the same, but then different, a little bit different. And it isn't, like the whole dynamics of life in, for example, Indonesia is different, because people have different things that are important for them. In Europe, other things are more important for them. So that also creates that they have different motivations to perform or in any way of form in life. So no, it was, that's what I said. It's so valuable, and football can make you rich, but I'm rich of experience. And that's also in the job that I do now. I've made a lot of contacts. I understand cultures in which countries you have to be accustomed to different ways of doing business, and I think that's something valuable for people or players that I also want to bring to other countries, and show them my experience in how to become successful is maybe a big word, but in the end, if I look back to my career, I've always been happy with my performance, and I think if you are happy with your performance, even though sometimes you have bad times and you have good times, but overall it was a good experience, then I think you are successful as well, because you've been enjoying your what you've been doing, and at the end of my career, that's exactly what the feeling that I have.